Okay, I just want to go ahead and say, Jesus, coughing. I just want to go ahead and say that we have tried very hard for this video, but we have not had much success. So, God just revealed to me, he was like, Bailey, car ride video. So, car ride video it is. We went and got strawberries today, and we took some pictures, and now the strawberries are stinking the car. Welcome to Car Rides with Aliyah and Bailey. So we're going to Chick-fil-A because we're starving and both haven't ate in like almost 8 hours.
Which is a record for me. This is why I can't multitask.
Look at that lighting. Wow. We're finally getting Chick-fil-A.
Okay, this is confusing. Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm not a good driver. Look how long that line is.
It's worth it. What's that song? Baby girl, you're worth it.
I know what you're talking about.
I'd give you the world. Oh, I'd give you the world, baby girl.
I was thinking of...
You're worth it. Okay, sorry. We had to order and all that stuff, get my points. It's whatever. Like, God, he cares for someone as little as me that's, like, so undeserving, that's so full of shame and, like, guilt and sin. And he just looks at me like I'm the most beautiful thing in the world. And I think that's crazy that he loves us that much, that he would be willing to sacrifice his one and only son so that we can have life and have it abundantly through him.
Yeah. That's another thing to, like, grow a love for yourself is to, like, ask God how he sees us, because like, I mean, our human mind can't even comprehend it fully, but like he could give us a glimpse of like how he actually sees us, and just from that, like, we grow such a deep love for ourselves. And
something I've been like realizing lately, I was writing this down today actually, I was like, every day God reveals to me not only a little bit more about myself, but a little bit more about himself. So as you seek him, God reveals to you more of who you are, because it's like, you can't have a one-way relationship where God is just loving and loving and loving you. Like, if you want to be actively pursuing the Lord, you have to love him and seek after him, and every day just like surrender who you are so that you can be the person he called you to be.
That reminds me of a verse. Do we have to stop here?
I think we pay here. We have to pay real quick.
Thank
you.
My pleasure.
I hope they don't see my thumbs.
Every time I get well done, I have to wait.
Her eyes are so pretty. I've never seen that color before.
That's another thing. Ooh, that reminds me. Okay, so like, you know, like a lot of people struggle with like not loving themselves because of like comparison. That's like the root of it all, really. And I've been learning something God has been teaching me is like, if you hype people up, like instead of instantly comparing yourself, you encourage them instead.
That's so
that
good.
makes you feel better about yourself too.
Thank you. She saw it. She saw it. She's probably thinking,
okay, what's the destination?
Oh, what are we doing?
I
think it's like really important. This is something that God's been revealing to me lately. So my pastor, he was like, if you don't have time for Jesus, then you shouldn't have time for anything. And like that hit me. If I don't like every day make a time or carve out a time where I go to Jesus and I separate myself from the distractions of the world, and I just sit down and it's just me and God, and I'm able to just focus on him and not have like all this other stuff in the world surrounding me. Those are the moments when I can really figure out like what God's trying to show me and what he's trying to do. And you can hear God a lot better when you don't have the distractions of the world always like in your ear. And that kind of goes back to the Instagram thing too, because it is so distracting, and it not only distracts you from what really matters, it distracts you from like knowing who you are, because you start wanting to be like all these other people, you start wanting to be like other girls, you start wanting to look this certain way, and if you don't look like it, then you start beating yourself up, and then you feel horrible for the way you do look when you're beautiful. And God literally carved you out. He knitted you together in your mother's womb so that you could look the way you do today. Like, it's all a part of his plan. Like, you might only see the little pieces right now, but it all falls into this humongous plan that God created.
With like comparison and like judging and like worrying about what people are gonna say and like think, something that like helped me was like through prayer, asking God to help me like free myself from the fear of judgment and like learning to live like fully embracing who I am and just the way that God made me. Like even like the things that like I didn't like about myself, asking God to help me like love that about me, and so I can embrace. Earlier I was reading how like we're made in God's image, and so like we're made to resemble God, and God himself is love, and so how could we not have love for ourselves if we're made to be imitators of God?
Like God knows what you're gonna do when you're 82.
Right.
He knows where you're gonna be 5 years from now. Like, we don't have to worry. We don't have to stress. We don't have to figure out all these things because God already has it all figured out.
And that's like the beauty about like placing your life in his hands, because it's like the safest place to be.
Exactly.
He only has good intentions for us, you know? He doesn't intend to put us in danger, to like harm us or anything. And so like trying to control our own life is like not gonna end pretty, because our hands aren't that safe, you know?
So that like out of all the creation and everything that we think is so beautiful, like the ocean, the sunsets, everything, God looks at us and thinks that we're the most beautiful part of creation. And then we hate ourselves and like how we look, and we come up with all these lists of how to make ourselves better and just things we can do, and we go and buy so much to just make ourselves what we think is what's in style, when God looks at us and we're the most beautiful thing to the creator of the universe. I don't think that we should try to please the world, because the world is never going to satisfy us. It's never going to fulfill us. It's just going to keep leaving us on empty and wanting more. And it's a process. It's an unending loop that is never going to satisfy you.
Well said.
Thank you. That's just something that really bothers me.
Something that I think is important is like when you're like trying to grow deeper in your like intimacy with God, is to like really focus and learn on like, or learn who he is as like a God, or like as a person, or as like our Father. Because like something that I didn't realize until I like went to YWAM was like, in my heart I didn't really like honestly and truly believe that like God was good. Like I had been told that my whole life, but I didn't like believe it that much. And like that's such the root of it all. Like knowing who God is the root of your relationship with him. And so something that I've learned is like you can't really know your identity if you don't know God's identity, because you're made in his image, you know?
Something else I've been thinking about is like, God is the life that is within me. Like, this body isn't mine, this is his, and it's a temple that I'm supposed to use to be able to uplift his name and to reflect who he is. And it's so powerful, because you can use yourself in ways that will lead others and point them to him. And that's why when I go to school and stuff, like, I just have to keep reminding myself, be joyful, smile, love others, because it's not me that matters, it's my purpose, which is leading others to Christ, that matters. So that's just something to kind of remember. Like, if you're ever kind of feeling down in the dumps or sad, like, just remember that it's not you that's living, it's God that's living within you. So try to just push through even when you don't feel like you can. Okay, y'all. So I think that's the end of our car talk for today. That was our first one. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to do it again. So thank y'all for watching this video, and I hope that you really enjoyed it. And sorry if we were kind of all over the place, speaking from our hearts and what God was revealing to us in the moment. So I really hope that it was something that y'all can use in your everyday life. And just remember to love who you are, because that's who God made you to be, and you have to love who you are in order to love who he is. So I hope that y'all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching this video. Bye.
Bye.
That's pretty. Okay, look at my eyes. Do you see my eyes?
That's so pretty.
Wow.
I just realized I don't know your eye color.
Look.
I've always thought they were brown.
I know that's what everybody thinks, but they're like blue and green.